Director of Player Personnel for the Baltimore Ravens, 46 years old. He's a Ravens lifer. 24 seasons with the Ravens. Started as a regional scout in '98. I love having that 1990. Like I could just say 98 again. So how about that? It just felt good to see that 1990 symbol. Then became a national scout from '06 to '08, and then director of college scouting for 9 years to 2018. And then when Ozzie Newsome stepped down from GM and took a more of behind the scenes role, became the director of player personnel for the Ravens. Well, he's your number 2, so I'm going to let you go off because he's not my number 2.
Okay. This was a last-minute change, and I really could go back and forth. The other guy was number 2, like, 5 hours ago, but... So here's why Hortiz is my number 2. Way more experience. Way more experience, and the way that he talks about football, very, very personable, first of all. Like, if he's hired as GM, the amount of content that you as a fan, as a Giants fan, are going to have to, if you want to go and listen to about previous interviews, previous podcasts, he basically, I almost feel like he pseudo is, again, like another guy that can be like counted as an assistant GM, where he's just so available and he's so readily available to the media, and he's the one that's talking about draft prospects after the draft. So apparently he was a guy that really pushed for Lamar Jackson. My only trepidation is everyone in the building, they are almost Ravens lifers, where they've been in the building for 20, 30 years.
But they've been doing it good for life, though, too.
Except, like I said, except compared to the Giants, they are proven winners with sustained success. Giants, there are some people in the building that have won Super Bowls, but they haven't had sustained success. But people in the building for the Ravens, they've won Super Bowls, they've been to Super Bowls, and they have sustained success. That's the difference between the Ravens and the Giants. But when Hortiz is leaving the building, will he be able to succeed, and does he have the connections outside of the Ravens building to bring it over to the Giants and not working with the same people that he's been working for 20 plus years? That's my only trepidation. And I have him as number 2 because of how highly qualified and how highly spoken of he is around league circles.
I have him as 4.
4?
Which is good because I love my top. Any of the top 4 I'm thrilled about. Hell, even the 5th one, I was like, man, this guy might be the sneaky, like, one of the best ones. But the Ravens just get the draft consistently right. And they're so ahead of the game on analytics. And, we talk about their Ravens defense being a type, but their offense isn't. Their offense has been the most adaptable offense that we've seen in the last 10 years because they went from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson. And they did that mid-season. And then obviously they bring Roman in and, really transform it. So, like, they seem to be really into positional value. They are adding offensive linemen consistently in the draft where they can fleece us for a Ben Bredesen trade. He's probably going to regret that if he comes to the Giants. And again, he's rooted in draft scouting, and they've gotten the drafts right. Looking at depth. Like, that's something I love about the Ravens is they take depth serious at their most important position, which is O-line, edge, inside linebacker.
Yeah, how many injuries
DBs.
Did they have at the start of this year? And they, at least at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year and the start of the year, they didn't necessarily miss a beat. Yeah.
You were saying earlier about like dispelling, like the combos, like guys being paired together. I would be a little worried about Wink. I just don't know if he's going to be a head coach, and I don't know if his defense would translate.
Here's the thing. I think people need to stop being so married to. It could be true. I don't know. But if Joe Shane's hired, Brian Dabble's going to come. If Hortiz is hired, then it's going to be Wink Martindale as the head coach. I'm not married to the idea. I don't think that happens super often in the National Football League when GMs are hired, that they're going to bring whatever coordinator that they have as head coach. I think these guys are open to working with somebody different and somebody who is maybe more qualified than one of those coordinators.
So that was one of the negative points, and like you said, you make a really good point with that. Here's the other one. Since Ozzie Newsome stepped down, which was 2018 was his last draft, the Lamar Jackson draft. Now you said he really wanted Lamar Jackson, so credit to him for that. Ravens drafts haven't been amazing the 3 years since. Like you go 2019, not saying there's not some good players in there, but they haven't had the slam dunk picks that they were getting with Ozzie Newsome. Some good players in there, but they just haven't had the slam dunk ones. So that does worry me a little bit. That's why he's like lower than Adam Peters and another guy for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I understand you with the like worrying of like how much is he a product of the Ravens, but like he seems real deal, and he's rooted in drafting and scouting, and like you said, he's personable, so he should be able to run it, the day-to-day type stuff. And as far as a GM wise, like the Ravens aren't overspending in free agency or anything.
No.
In fact, they're the ones that let guys go. Like, all right, Matthew Judon, you can roll.
Yeah, they're edge rushers especially. Yeah.
So yeah, he is number 4 for me, and that would be like, what, 4? It's like I love my top 4. I love my top 4.
Yeah. I want to say a quote about how they use analytics. Now, I think I'm pretty sure that these top 3 guys that I'm going to talk about, they all do use analytics. There's always been certain references of them using analytics, and if it's a quote where they say I use it, or if it's, hey, here's an instance in football in real practice of how I use it. So here's what he said. We have a way of using it all together, and our analytics guys do a great job of working on their end, and our scouts obviously assess the speed category in their eyes. I guess he was talking about whether he loves talking about edge rushers. It kind of works together. Sometimes you have disconnects and sometimes you have the marriages, but it's great when you see it with your eyes and the data backs it up. And one of the things that Hortiz talks about in some other quotes about analytics too is it's a tool. It's a tool. It is not black or white. It is not, if the numbers say it, we do it. It is a tool where the analytics department, they're going to do the work on their end. And if you're talking about scouting, they're going to do the work on their end about how they see players and how they evaluate players. And then the film people are going to come together, give their thoughts, give their observations. And if they can marry the two, which actually, humble brag, when I do my stat reports, that's exactly how I approach my stat reports every single week. I approach my stat reports by saying, I don't want to present information that's like, ooh, look at the numbers say this and you're wrong. I want to present information that backs up the eye test. And Joe Hortiz basically operates the same way within his football operations, with marrying analytics with the eye test and what the football people are seeing. And I love that, and I think that's exactly the way you should be using analytics.